I can also, there's side things I can do. I can talk very clearly about what the path of purification and breaking routines is. That's a whole thing I can do. I can talk fairly extensively about my CSETI experience. I've had since then 4 out of 4 attempts to contact I've had. I'm hooked in. So actually another, someone who I met at Shasta last year is coming. We're going to go see David Icke next Sunday, all-day event at Times Square. And after that, next Sunday night, so a week from now, we're going to do a CSETI type of protocol contact thing. If any of you want to come to that, just stay in touch. He wants to do it in Central Park. I don't know if Central Park is open at night. I have no idea. But that's next Sunday night. You're going to see something. It's not like, that's a whole other subject. There's different subjects I can present. And we actually tried to book another place for next Saturday. But my intuition was that it wasn't needed. That if this group wants to get together and go further with this, first of all, we have tonight, and then we have next Saturday night, and I'm happy to hang out and go for it, because my position is that everyone's a genius. So everyone has something to share, and that is my view. So I view myself as a student of life, and at this point, especially with young people, I'm an elder student. So I'm at the position now I can be an elder. And I'm not into being a teacher of students. I think that's corrupt, personally. I'm a student. If you want to be my fellow student, let's learn together. I never want to be the teacher. I never want to have a lineage follow me. I never want to have a belief system follow me. Nothing like that. So this is what I've contemplated most of my life, is there a way around corruption? And the way around it is to stay really clear that no one knows the truth. We just have our perspective. That was a nice little tangent. Okay, so we're coming back now to the controllers. Now, who are the controllers? Let's say that there was a banking cartel in Europe. Let's say the Rothschilds were a part of that. And let's say that they never stopped. They just kind of disappeared and went underground, and no one hears about them anymore. But to assume that they just left, they just went for a picnic and never got back to business is wrong. They've been in business the whole time. That's one element of it. The controllers are the concentration of power on this planet. The concentration of power is military and financial, and to an extent, religious. Tying in religious power, the controllers want all power, so they're going to try to co-opt anything. So, but let's start with Eisenhower's statement that you better be careful. There is a military-industrial complex, and with unwarranted power and unwarranted influence. Let's begin with that. So they are aware, the wealth of these people is unbelievable. You have in 1913, in a little sneak legislation at Christmas time, when there was almost no one coming to Congress, they sneak in the creation of the Federal Reserve Bank, a private bank that has the power, is given the responsibility to print money, and given the power to give the money they're printing to you on a loan. You pay interest to them. And so, since for 100 years, the Federal Reserve Bank, which is not federal, it's private, has been collecting interest on nothing, just getting money. Their wealth is beyond beyond understanding. So, as has been said by other people, and I don't invent language, I just repeat things. As has been said, when these men have more money than anyone could possibly spend, and they've done everything they could ever dream of doing with money, their next game is just power and to control and influence. So we have the banking interests who kind of disappear, and you never hear the name Rothschild anymore. You have Rockefeller. Now that's an interesting one. For me, it's interesting because I just stayed up till 2 in the morning last night reading about Rothschild. Because I went to I made a mistake, I love it. Rockefeller, I went to the Rockefeller Center, and there's his little statement, I believe the individual, me, 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 me. That's what he talks about in his little placard. And I say, this guy. So I go and read about him last night. So the history of Rothschild is really the history, I said it again, of Rockefeller. The history of Rockefeller is really this history of oil. That with this tremendous power of oil, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. This oil is the most powerful thing ever imagined. It was just unbelievable. And the people who controlled it became corrupt. So you have Rockefeller in the 1880s, 1890s. The way he did his business, according to the story, he didn't produce a better product. Oil is oil. What he did is undercut everyone. He was a ruthless businessman. His version of capitalism was basically take out your knife and go at it, That's his idea of capitalism. So in the 1890s, there's all these antitrust lawsuits and court cases trying to stop him from being this unbelievable monopoly. And they wiggled out of it and went this way and that way. The amount of money they had at the time was just phenomenal. And you can read about it. I read about it last night. So then what does he do? He's so rich. You find out that he gets into financing political causes in other countries. And some terrible things. He's financing a eugenics research. Eugenics is an idea that we could create a super race by controlling, by breeding people a certain way. And that some people are inferior. And that it becomes against the law in Germany to have Aryan people marry a non-Aryan. And this kind of crap, this chosen people thing I'm talking about, it's so corrupt. This tribalism, which Jesus spoke to, it's just ignorant. So but Rockefeller is financing this. He's financing this research. He's financing these psychologists and these other research of eugenics programs. He's on the inside of Hitler's trip. And who is financing Hitler? It ends up, there's banks financing him. Who are the banks? Is this in our history books? No. These people with money, they're using different movements. It's a game. It's a big chess game for them. Oh, what can we influence? The experimentation done in Hitler's regime there were thousands of scientists involved with mind control. Mind control, there's a woman who is not on my appendix, so everyone pay attention, Kathy O'Brien. Kathy O'Brien is a woman who was, as a girl, used sexually by high-ranking government officials in this United States. She was a victim of mind control, extreme dissociation through torture, which creates multiple personalities which can be manipulated. She was used as a courier, as a spy. And this is done through extreme trauma, way more than molestation, way worse than that. And these scientists in Germany are experimenting with this. and getting it down. How can you torture the mind to the point that it breaks and the person dissociates in order just to cope? And then what can you do with that? So there's all this experimentation. What happens when the Allied forces and Russia take over Germany? What are they going to do with this tremendous intellectual resource? Well, 12,000 come to the United States. And this is called Project Paperclip. You can look it up. So the Nazis continued their thinking and their programs here in the United States. They were sanctioned, they were funded, they were even given responsibility in security agencies. So when we see the kind of grotesque behavior of our security in this country, we see its lineage. Okay, its lineage is coming out of a Rockefeller-funded mind control programs coming out of Nazi Germany. This is not make-believe. So you can go from the history of Rockefeller to the YouTube testimony of Kathy O'Brien, and you can connect it all the dots, and you can say, oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. And some of our presidents, recent presidents, are very involved with this.